Communication is a fundamental part of human life, and one of the tools we rely on most is verbal language. Languages are the means that we humans have built up over the years to express ourselves to each other and convey our thoughts. However, it is not always easy to find the right words to communicate with others, and sometimes it seems as if we are speaking in another language, even though objectively we are speaking the same language as our interlocutor. We live in an age where multiculturalism and globalization bring us into contact with people from different parts of the world, and, as a result, we are somehow forced to become bilingual or multilingual, even if in an acquired form and not, as in some cases, from birth. Parents of mixed nationalities are not always advised to speak to their children in more than one language, because, according to some pediatricians and speech and language therapists, this would contribute to the onset of language delays in children, which could lead to social problems such as dyslexia or apraxia, which is the difficulty in articulating words correctly. The aim of this paper is precisely to get to the bottom of the issue and to understand what the advantages and disadvantages of exposure to more than one language from an early age are in practice. I've followed some of the research carried out jointly by teams of neurologists and sociologists from the 90s to the present day, which has shown that children who grow up in contact with two or more languages have no problems communicating, and that, despite an initial confusion in associating a great number of words with the same concepts, they also manage to make a greater number of neural connections, which leads them to more advanced cerebral and cognitive development than their monolingual peers. They also show greater concentration and mental flexibility, and last but not least, a long-term improvement in brain health, as knowing and speaking more languages has been shown to delay the onset of Alzheimer's by at least 4 years. People who grow up bilingual have access to another advantage, the ability to fully understand the cultures behind the languages, to deepen their understanding of them, and, as a result, to facilitate their communication with native speakers. An advantage that can be reflected in future job searches and, not less importantly, in considerable personal enrichment. This makes us think that languages are not called grammar and phonetic rules, but bridges that connect us with others, that have the power to bring us a little closer and perhaps even make us understand a little more, something we need in our reality, where everything is always done with an unnatural haste, a haste that leads us to a superficial use of words, which causes misunderstandings and constant misinformation, leading us to rush after mirages and false myths, sometimes linked to discrimination and prejudice against cultures other than our own. Of course, bilingualism will not solve all the frictions and problems that surround our society. But if you had the chance to live a life with a more open and flexible attitude towards diversity, to try to see the world from different perspectives, would you not take that chance, or at least offer it to your children? Because it is not fair that a parent should not feel free to speak to their children mother tongue, and it is not fair to deprive their children of a piece of history, culture, tradition, of which they are also a legitimate part. That is why I think it is right to preserve and claim one's roots always and in every case, because without them, we do not possess our most authentic identity, and this is something we cannot afford to give up.